UK stablecoins is not just a headline anymore. It is a real policy or legal question with practical consequences. Procedure can look slow on paper, but it often decides market access, compliance costs, and product design. UK Unveils Unified is the search phrase that fits this story because the UK is sketching a single payments framework that would bring stablecoins, tokenized deposits, and broader digital payment rules under one umbrella. That matters for firms building products, but it also matters for users because distribution, access, and consumer protections all change with the legal frame. The real problem is that procedure sounds technical, but the technical details decide who wins access and who loses flexibility. Start with the mechanism. The practical idea is to reduce regulatory fragmentation so payment firms do not have to navigate separate rulebooks for traditional money, tokenized bank money, and stablecoin issuance. In plain English, classification and timing matter because the rulebook decides who can offer the product, who can access it, and how risk is supervised. That is also why the wording of a bill, complaint, or ruling matters so much. A small legal distinction can redraw an entire product category. That is why a move like this can look exciting on the surface and still carry far more risk once you ask who is actually providing the liquidity, the capital, the legal cover, or the operational support. The context matters too. The plan also widens the FCA role around open banking, explores agent payments, and emphasizes custody, key management, and operational resilience as adoption bottlenecks. That backdrop is important because policy changes rarely arrive all at once. They arrive in steps, and each step can shift market expectations. A timeline slip or a narrow amendment can matter more than a dramatic speech. For people searching UK Unveils Unified, that bigger backdrop is useful because it explains why this story landed now instead of last month. But context is not the same thing as proof. Here is the split between what is firm and what still needs more evidence. The UK is sketching a single payments framework that would bring stablecoins, tokenized deposits, and broader digital payment rules under one umbrella. Clear rules alone will not guarantee usage if infrastructure, recovery systems, and trust standards are still weak. That is the line between a headline that grabs attention and a legal outcome that actually changes market structure. Viewers can easily mistake a live headline, a chart move, or a product announcement for a complete answer when it may only be the first visible piece. So who feels this first? That matters for firms building products, but it also matters for users because distribution, access, and consumer protections all change with the legal frame. In practical terms, the market is now being asked to price not only the headline event, but also the follow-through. Execution risk, adoption risk, liquidity quality, legal clarity, or recovery credibility, depending on how the next few sessions unfold. If the follow-through is weak, firms delay launches, users lose access, and capital waits on the sidelines. That is where legal language starts influencing product roadmaps and user options in the real market. The next procedural signal to watch is this. Watch the consultation details, licensing path, and how strict the issuance regime becomes for payment stablecoins. For this video, the most useful close is a concrete one. Watch the consultation details, licensing path, and how strict the issuance regime becomes for payment stablecoins. If that signal appears, the story gets stronger. If it does not, the current read can fade quickly. The next clean read on UK Unveils Unified is not a louder slogan. It is whether the next measurable step confirms the same pressure, demand, or trust signal that made this headline matter in the first place.